Welcome everybody to the Back of the Nest preview podcast. I am, obviously, Sam Hesketh, but not joined this week from my usual reprobate crew of Albert and Terence. Instead, we've got a bit of a review show flavour, starting off with Mr. Nick Gillard. Hello, Nick.
Hello. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. I warned you beforehand. I had some laxatives earlier, so if I disappear, you know why. The other thing's Terence. I heard that if Terence is out, you just get somebody from FYP in, like the BBC website did. Is that true? What's going on there?
Well, we're waiting for a call back on that one. So unfortunately, we've had to delve further into the review show cast, and we're also joined by Mike Scott. Hello.
Yeah, you got the B team today, haven't you? So am I Albert? Have I just got to make like a wanking joke occasionally? Is that
yeah. I do have. I'll see if I can find it. This is terrible for an audio podcast, but I do have a post-it note that gets put in front of the camera every time Albert talks. So the first time, Mike, that you start saying something, the post-it note will pop up and you can react accordingly.
Great stuff. Okay.
And I'll start off by saying, in lieu of a beer check, although Mike is drinking a beer, I've been forced into listening to a chat about flavours of vape. So I guess, what vape are you on, Nick?
In this particular vape, I've got menthol, 3% nicotine vape mixed in with some rocket raspberry CBD oil vape. So, yeah.
Great. I would ask if there's a review of it on whatever vape app, but I'll just move on. Mike, what are you on? Something a bit more grown up, maybe?
Oh, it's totally grown up, yeah. I just got to say, anyone that has the CBD stuff, and they're a stoner when they're about 15, and now they're trying to grab onto their younger years by still putting that in their vape. No, I've gone very grown up, and I've got a bottle of Keogh Cypriot beer with strawberry milkshake vape. So there you
go. The post-it note is going to get shown now, and it is very apropos. There you go.
Fair enough.
Peeking behind the curtain, it's basically just the word cunt. So
is that Wimpy milkshake or McDonald's milkshake?
Back when I could drink it, I absolutely loved McDonald's milkshake. McDonald's chocolate milk. There was a day when all I had for the day was 4 large McDonald's chocolate milkshake.
Supersize Mike.
Bloody hell. Well, let's move on from disgusting milkshakes onto something a bit more.
It's a good milkshake.
Well, is it?
What's your choice then?
What is a good milkshake?
What is it? Well, Wimpy's got quite a good milkshake, and there's a Wimpy's in Streatham, so I got to rep Wimpy.
Okay, what? How does it rate against like Fridge?
Oh, I don't drink that sort of shit. I don't know. Better.
Fair enough.
Fridge is better than Yazoo, but Wimpy's better than both.
Yeah, Wimpy's basically better than everything. You get a knife and fork, not with this milkshake, but with your bender in a bun. And you can't beat it. So I won't hear a word said against Wimpy.
No, I've got nothing. I'm ambivalent towards Wimpy. I've got no strong feelings either way. So
one of my sister's old boyfriends was in a band, sort of very, very sort of Z-list celebrity called the Normal Hawaiians, and they had a demo that got them their record deal, apparently, and it was a song called Wimpy Without Onions. So there's a little 70s, nobody's heard of them, punk factoid.
Sounds like a banger.
Sounds like a bender in a bun. Right. So today, I want to kick off with something a bit, well, I was going to say a bit more positive, but we're being quite positive about Wimpy. So a bit more positive football-wise. And it's the anniversary of Istanbul, as I'm sure we're all well aware.
How many years?
Excellent question. 8? Was it 2014? I'm pretty sure it was 2014. I was going to say, do we all remember it? Obviously, we all remember it, but was there anything particular about the game that you liked?
I can still see in my mind's eye Glenn Murray's excellent chest through ball
Yes.
to Dwight Gale. I can also remember the main stand shaking, and I can also remember everybody in the main stand on their feet going do lally, which happens once every 74 years at Senna. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. I've never known a noise like it before or since.
Yeah, that atmosphere was absolutely insane. That's one of the main things I remember. I think my favourite takeaway is obviously the camera just focusing on Luis Suarez crying in the middle of the pitch. That's always a joyous reminder that I get on my Twitter whenever it comes up. What about you, Mike? Anything particular that you liked about that game?
I remember I was really pissed. So I didn't really take it in the way that I probably should. I had almost no memories until I watched it back. So that is it. I mean, that happens now, especially now I go to the football with Chris Clark. That happens a lot. Speaking of which, he's at the moment waiting. As we record right now, there's about 20 minutes left of the voting day. He's waiting to find out what role he's got in Croydon this year as like councillor or whatever. I think he was absolutely bricking it, to be honest. In
the Fairfield ward of Croydon, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I kind of listened and then I drift in and out. Yes, yeah.
Well, for everyone listening to the pod, obviously the result will be known by the time you hear this. So if you care, and I'm sure you do, because who wouldn't? I'm sure the socials, certainly of Chris himself, will be declaring his massive victory. Let's say massive. Let's be positive. I'm going to be more positive about Chris than I am about Palace.
Well, he's got to beat that random geezer that decided he'd canvass outside the game the other week. Rangers. Sorry, that guy. The police told him to stop canvassing outside the game the other week. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't, and it wasn't Chris doing this.
No, if we were on the ball and technically savvy, following on from Albert's lovely recollection of those adventure books where you turn to a certain page, we could do, if Chris Clark won in the election, go to minute 7.
Yeah.
if he lost, go to minute 15, and we'll record 2 different kind of responses to however he did.
No, we got to be apolitical on this show, otherwise Hambo will kick your ass.
True.
That's true.
Unless it's about Wimpy, in which case, be partisan. So I did have a lovely segue, a Terence-like segue from the atmosphere at Crystanbul to replicating the atmosphere by buying a new season ticket next year. But we went off-piste a little bit there.
Yeah, do you know what? Segues only work seamlessly if you don't force the conversation back to. So I'm used to
working with pros who don't go off-piste, so my segues usually work. But listen, we make do with what we've got.
Look, you're more scared of Terry than we are of you. Let's put it that way. So
that's very true. He's threatened to talk to me about his craft beer for hours at the beer festival. So that's pretty scary, to be honest. I'll be on my best behaviour.
Do you know what? I've decided I'm going to go to Surrey away at Kent instead of the beer festival.
This is outrageous.
Especially as Chris said, he's got 8 tickets. I might change my mind.
Is it Beckenham or Canterbury?
It's Beckenham.
Oh, I might pop down.
Bloody hell, no one's going to be at the beer festival. I don't even like craft beer. I'm going to be there. This is a disaster.
I've got the day off on Friday, so maybe I'll go to cricket on Friday and that on Saturday.
Well, something that came out today, sort of ahead of the beer festival, is Palace have announced they're going to do an open training session at Selhurst on the morning of the beer festival. Tickets are free. You have to register to get a ticket. Is this something either of you would maybe go to?
Oh, the first thing I'm thinking of is where am I going to hide to get myself into the beer festival in the afternoon after the training session?
Well, it does say that the beer festival starts like basically immediately after the training session, and they've sort of tried to I don't, like I quite fancy going anyway because I think it'd be quite good. But I guess to sort of butter people up a bit, they've said that there'll be breakfast baps on sale. So if you're on the fence and you want a breakfast bap, Selhurst for the open training session is the way to go, it seems.
On sale, but not free. I mean, I'm quite tempted in that it's going to be my only chance to see Yaroslav Yak. And maybe I'll see Remy Matthews actually save a shot after the one time I saw him this season against Sutton United when he had 3 shots and he let in 3. No, I think if I was with my kid, I'd go. But I think it's better off leaving a ticket to the young uns that are going to be the next generation of Palace, really.
So that's a beer festival. What about the training?
Well, I mean, that makes me feel like a bit of a twat because I'm not a young'un or the next generation, but I still kind of want to go to the open training session. Mostly just to get another 2 hours of Wilf in my life because you just can't have enough Wilf, to be honest with you.
You're only there for the yak.
I went a couple of years ago. It was interesting. It was good. And then I can't remember, my daughter decided that she'd had enough. And then, of course, we left and 5 minutes later they stopped training and all the players came over and had photos with everybody. So I missed out on that by 5 minutes. But, it's interesting to see.
Yeah, it'd be good. How they sort of do their segue between training session and beer festival, I don't know. But whether they just move the tray of baps and replace it with a tray of pork scratchings.
Because I've been once, and it was royal wedding on big screen with pay to play on the pitch games as well. So it was quite nice to sit on the homestand and watch completely hopeless people kick a ball about. And does that segue onto Watford?
Can we cover the season tickets? Because I don't really understand the costing. Like, what am I looked at the email and I was like, I don't get this. What's going on? Someone explain it to me.
So, I think the price have gone up a tiny bit. Obviously, they're doing the sort of different phases of buying your season ticket. So, if you get the early bird, which you have to pay like the whole sum at once, it's X amount of money. If you do the direct debit, you can do that from the next month. It's a bit more. So doing that, but they've also got what's called Season Ticket Plus.
Yeah, right.
And I've actually got the news piece out here to let you know what it is. So
we might as well be actually informative rather than giving no information across a 45-minute pod. So
exactly. I mean, Terence is very good at doing that. And again, Albert and I tend to just mute and talk to each other on WhatsApp.
Listen, last week I very much noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers. Welcome again, Mike. So, Season Ticket Plus gives you a huge range of unique benefits. Apparently, these include a Palace TV subscription, which is worth £30. Although this season, I bought the Palace TV subscription, and half the academy matches aren't showing because they overlap with a Premier League game or something. So that's a bit shit. It gives you the ability to share your season ticket for specific games with a select group of supporters on your account. So I guess don't just screen grab and WhatsApp it to your mate. Don't know if
I wouldn't dare do that.
You get an additional 250 loyalty points on top of your 500 for the season ticket. 10% off all purchases in the club shop. No booking fees on any ticket order. A special edition design of your digital season ticket. And here's the
Sorry, so a special edition digital ticket.
Correct.
So a different little picture on your phone.
Yeah.
Cool.
And knowing Palace, it'll probably be Conor Gallagher after he has gone back to Chelsea. But here's the one that I think I can hear that at least Mike, maybe Nick as well, is a little bit sceptical. But here's what's going to win you over: you get a welcome pack, and it includes not just a key ring, not just a badge, but a reusable drinks bottle as well.
Wow. Okay, so how much more is it? Because I've got the membership this season anyway, so I can watch Palace and it's TV, and it sounds like it's basically to get you to buy both. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the season ticket plus is another £50.
Okay,
Although,
so identical to just buying the season ticket and the membership, really.
yeah, I might have made that up because I can't say that anywhere, but I'm pretty sure I read it was an extra £50.
It is.
And the adult season ticket in the lower, which concerns you and I, I'm not sure. Where do you?
Mine is £5. But initially, it's £5.40 in Block J of the main stand, family bit, and we've ummed and ahed. Do we move to the home style, or do we just go where we know where we've sat for years and years, and actually the people around us are pretty decent people, and
Do you know what? We're all right as well. Funnily enough,
yeah,
we're
I know.
we're not too bad. So.
But you know what I mean? It's
if you've made your decision and we're second best, whatevs. You pay your extra £20, so you go and fucking sit over there. Yeah.
I'll pay less. I'll pay a lot less. And what's really weird is the bloke who sits 3 places to the left of me pays £75 more.
Why?
And because he's in a different block.
Oh God. You haven't got a seat behind a post, have you?
But there is a post, but we're used to it. We're used to dodging, bobbing and weaving. I'm bobbing and weaving here on the screen.
I was wondering if the person who has a season ticket behind Mike also pays less because he stood behind a post.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's pretty fluid. Do you get access to the bar? Is that why you?
Yeah, we've got a bar. We've got a little bar. The only thing is they only serve San Miguel on draft, which, being a Catalan Republican, I'm not really happy about.
It's brewed in Stoke, so I wouldn't worry too much.
Yeah. But the points thing. See, I'm on 5,976 points.
How have you got that in front of you?
No, I just know that because I'm so close to the magical 6,000. It's ingrained. Okay, so and I haven't been working, so these things stick. So had I gone to Villa and Everton, I would have surpassed the 6,000 point thing. But a lot of the games this season, away games, you needed 7,000. So I'm thinking, okay, if I get the 500 points for the season ticket, that will take me up to 6,500. Pay the 50 notes for the 250, and then I've potentially got 13 games to take me over the magic 7,000. But then I'm thinking, what's the point? Because I've still got to wait till the next bloody day for Will to catch up.
Yeah, that's true.
To get the tickets together, and there's only 1 or 2 games where it has proved difficult to get tickets. Now, of course, if we do really, really well next year, because we are, after all, in our own transitional season, and by default should be a lot better next season, though we won't be banking on it, does that mean more people will want to go and watch us away games? Because, perversely, following us away, aside from the cost of travel, is cheaper, because I saw for the first time the cost of buying a one-off ticket to go and watch Palace. And it's like 55, 60 quid. Ridiculous. I know people pay 102 at Arsenal, but it's so. And
do you know what? You talked me into going to the training session, because if people are paying 55 quid and not seeing Yaroslav Yak, I can see Yaroslav Yak without paying 55 quid.
So yeah, I can see why people might be drawn into wanting it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I bought the extra, whatever it was called last year, membership gold or whatever, for the Palace TV thing, so I could watch the academy teams, and it's all right. You get Mark Brighton commentary, which is not really worth the money, but
do you know what will make it worth money is if they actually put the fucking women's games on there.
Yeah.
There's absolutely inexcusable that A, they're the same time as the men's game more often than not, and B, they're not on the Palace player when they're not. So if they do that, if they just did that, they wouldn't need to be trying to get people to pay this extra 50 quid. People would be jumping at the chance. But yeah, I don't know why. Unless it's out of their hands and it's to do with the championship. God knows, but it just seems ridiculous to me. It would have been so worth. It would have been the best 50 quid I'd spent all year if it had been that. But as it is, you get to see the under-23s. But like you say, half the time it clashes with the first team anyway.
Oh, but while we're here, host boss, can
Yes.
I just make a clarification from the match report from the last weekend where we were talking
Absolutely.
about the women's game at St James's Park, Mike, and we thought it was Durham, but it was actually Newcastle, actually a fourth tier women's game that got the 22,000 highest attendance of the season.
No. Let's re-clarify, right? You said they were playing Liverpool, and therefore Patrick said it had to be Durham because they're in the same league. Because Newcastle are not in the Championship.
Well, I've cleared it up now, so that's good. That's good. Anyway, thank you.
Rangers are in the Europa League final.
West Ham are.
Well. Speaking of finals, Palace are in a final as well. We're in the under-15s Floodlit Cup final. The national cup final against Sunderland, which by all accounts will be shown on Palace TV.
Okay,
I believe it's tomorrow.
Ooh.
So that's a good one. So they played. I think they played the regional final, didn't they, at Selhurst, which may have been against Watford. I should really do my research.
Where are they playing, Sam? Do you know?
I think they're playing in Loughborough.
Oh, right, okay.
Which is a bit weird. But is there not like a school of excellence or something there? There used to be something like that there, didn't there?
Yeah.
So if I'm not talking out of my arse, then and you have got Palace TV, then it should be on that tomorrow. But if you're listening to this, probably just check the Palace website because I might be talking rubbish.
When you say tomorrow, just to clear up for a listen at any time podcast.
Very
what
good
day
point.
Is that? Is that the 6th of May?
It is Friday the 6th of May.
Right, okay.
Because we're speaking to you from the past.
Don't go down that alleyway.
Yeah, we don't need to split timelines. Another couple of things quickly to mention before we get on to the preview of the Watford game. One is that Wilf has won Player of the Month. It was presented by Jeff Thomas, which is obviously great because Jeff Thomas is great. Did you guys vote for Player of the Month at all?
No. I have looked at the Player of the Season, but I didn't vote for Player of the Month. I'd have given it to Wilf anyway. So
nice. I voted for Klein. I have to say because
interesting. Okay, how come?
It's probably recency bias because I thought he was man of the match against Southampton, but I think he's had a good month. I think he's looked good. So I just voted for him. This is Player of the Month, not Player of the Season.
Yeah.
Positively, though, there's a fact paper between all of them. You know, there could be 12 of us and we could all come up with a different answer and be justified, I think.
I mean, I'm absolutely not against Wilf winning it because he's the best player ever. But yeah, it was nice to see him be presented with the little trophy by Jeff Thomas. And then he got one of these newfangled FIFA team cards. I don't know what they are. But he liked that his stats are really high. And when Patrick Vieira was asked about Wilf's stats and whether he thought they were good or not, Wilf off camera said, even you wouldn't be able to live with me, to Vieira. So maybe that's why he was dropped against Southampton for that insubordination.
It's not even a newfangled thing. It's the fact that DR is so much better than I could ever be that I've just walked away from modern FIFA and just gone, it's not for me.
Yeah.
There's no need.
I'm quite happy languishing in this Division 7, all right. It's just trying to do the championship games where you're playing against the top players. But I did pack Mitchell, team of the season, Tyrick, so he's got good stats. But yeah, I haven't played it nearly as much as I have done in the past, and my life is much better for it. I don't get annoyed or anything. So yeah.
Great. I played it once at Terrence's house and I was shit. So that's it. The one last thing I wanted to mention, and it's a tiny bit of self-promotion because...
Is it your SoundCloud?
It's not my SoundCloud. Although Nick's SoundCloud, if you're interested, check the socials. Now that I'm in a position of power, I'm going to abuse it by saying that I have something...
OnlyFans?
Well, TBC. I've got a little piece in the new issue of One More Point fanzine, which is out on Saturday at the Watford game. It's £2 on the day, but if you aren't able to get one on the day and you want it sent, then it's £3, and I think you just need to DM Chris on Twitter, whose Twitter is One More Point and then the number 1. I have written a nonsensy, stupid thing because that's the only thing I can do.
If I'm properly covering Albert here, I'd make a comment about the word nonce being used and that kind of thing, but I'm not going to do that because I'm my own man. So carry on.
Great, thanks very much. Well, if you want a copy, get it on Saturday. If you think the thing I've written shit, tell me on Twitter. If you see me at the beer festival, maybe don't tell me that I'm shit at everything just because
Can we at you on?
sad.
Can we at you on Twitter if we buy it, we read it, and we don't like the magazine because of your article?
Yeah, that's
you can
fine.
go on the BBS, you can make a new account and you can comment there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm happy to get abuse of people on all social media platforms except Facebook because I don't have one.
As long as you're promoting Back of the Nest in your article, is it in big bold letters at the bottom?
I am. It's big bold letters at the top because I wrote it in there myself.
Excellent.
So if it's not in there, then that's an editorial decision and throw abuse at Chris, who will be listening to this. So sorry if you're getting the abuse, Chris. And on that note, let's talk about this weekend's game with the return of Roy Hodgson. Our old manager, he got a CBE this week. How excited or proud are you of that, Mike? I'll ask you because you're itching to talk. You're so excited.
Do you know what? A CBE is nothing in comparison to a key to the town of Croydon. So,
great point.
He took it in his stride and had gone, yeah, this isn't the greatest day of my life. There's been better. So fair enough. I'd imagine that some of the Watford fans probably made a few choice comments about it because I don't think he's endeared himself particularly to them that much. I've seen a few fairly amusing memes. But, I'm sure he's deserved it. I'm not quite sure what CBE stands for.
I was going to say, I can imagine what the C is that the Watford fans say, but I'm not sure that's the official title.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, they'll have copied it off us.
So sorry, as presenter, have you not looked this up?
Well, CBE's commander, isn't it? The British
Commander
Empire?
of the British Empire.
I could see he's had 40, 50 years of being a commander. I can see that, yeah. I mean, let's not rewrite history. He helped keep us up. The fact that he stayed too long for me is neither here nor there. He did some great things, and when he did get the key to Croydon, we were all happy as fuck. So,
Very true. Nick,
Yeah,
how do you...
I'd much rather remember him as the man who's allowed to freely drive sheep across the Croydon flyover or whatever, having the key to
drive sheep across the Croydon flyover. Just remembering that it's no longer 40 miles an hour; it's only 30.
than actually not rip up his CB and give it back because I'm a bit of a Republican. So yeah, but let's remember him for that. And let's Roy, my only I'm pleased we're going to relegate Watford. I'm certain of that anyway. I'm kind of. It's going to be a shame that it's going to be Roy that does it because my abiding memory of Roy is the Arsenal game with the limited crowd, where he kind of appeared as a kind of B-Tech Frank Sinatra at the end, holding the stereo microphone. He's looking like he was about to burst into New York, but gave a very good speech. I mean, let's give him a round of applause. It's just a shame it's kind of ruined that ending that we had.
It's
going to be a bigger humiliation for Roy than Steve Bruce standing there staring at his shoes in the pissing rain when he's losing 4-0 while manager of Hull. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be worse than that for Roy, going down at Palace, his home team, his own team are going to relegate him. I mean,
this is nothing compared to the Iceland game. So he's never going to reach lower than that. The fact that he bounced back at all is amazing because everyone thought his career was done. This was an impossible job for anyone to deal with, and he's not capable. This current way that football is played in the Premier League is just not suited to the way that he does things with lower teams. But it won't bother him because if it managed to be water off a duck's back in the Iceland game, this will be like a piss in the ocean in comparison. And let's be honest, Watford, he probably thinks himself, as a man that's got the key to Croydon, I've done the world a favour. So
yeah, where's those sheep? How much of it is down to Lewington not wearing shorts?
Yeah, that's weird. I don't like it. That's when you know the timeline is split. I did see a good tweet after they lost to Burnley, and I think it was just after Burnley had gone 2-up last week against them, and it was Roy sat in the first or second row of the dugout. So Lewington was in front of him, and Roy was just sat there with his shades on, couldn't give a shit. He was like, "This payoff's coming, and then I'm out. I don't have to listen to that knobhead Curly shouting at me every 2 days." I actually looked up his record as Watford manager because obviously he's not done great, which we all know. But I thought it'd be interesting to see just.
I've got some facts if you want. Hang on,
go for it. Hit me.
Right. Okay. The Hornets have won one of their last 29 league matches against London sides. Drawn 7, lost 21. A 1-0 home win over Millwall in April 21. In the top flight, they have lost 14 matches in a row against teams from the capital, the longest losing run against London teams in top flight history.
Oh, God.
This will be Watford's 110th league meeting with Crystal Palace, making them the side they've faced the joint most times in league history. That's why they want us to be rivals, because we played them. They've played us more than they've played anybody else, apart from QPR. So, and they're shit. They've got a shit record against us. So it's a nailed-on 1-0 Watford win, isn't it?
I like that your last fact was, and they're shit, which is undisputed, to be honest. Well, I looked at their record under Roy. It's not great reading for Watford fans. In 14 games, he's won 2, drawn 2, lost 10. They've scored 9, and they've let in 29. But both of his wins were away at Southampton and Villa. So I suppose small solace for them is they're better away than they are at home. But when you look at that record, they're not great anywhere, are they, really?
Well, you're talking about Roy sitting in the back with his shades on, not giving a shit. We were at the away game, and the players didn't seem to care, did they?
No.
The crowd didn't even seem to care. There was just a general malaise around the ground. There was no atmosphere. They weren't even poking sticks at it to try and get it back into life. It was just resignation.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the away game actually because I was there as well, and even when they equalised right after we'd gone 1-0 up, as soon as the sort of they'd kicked off again, the atmosphere was flat again. You would think that would sort of galvanise them and they'd get behind the team because they hadn't really done anything up until that point. It had been a pretty drab game up until that point, to be fair. But you would think, right, that will kickstart them and they'll get behind their team and it'll be a pretty choppy sort of next sort of 10, 15 minutes. But yeah, like you say, it was dead quiet really. And as soon as we went 2-1 up, that was it for their fans. You know, they're not, I suppose they were resigned long before. But at the time,
we've never been in the situation where we, unless it was the times we've gone straight back down, in which case, you know, obviously it's still, you know, that when teams do that, it's the Premier League for a season. They are really a Premier League mainstay of the last 15 years. And we've not been in a situation where we are definitely going to go down in any season. So I'm not sure how any I don't think we can relate to it really because it's not really ever happened to Palace.
True. But it does seem weird to me though, because we'd not been in a great run when we played them. I don't think we'd won in a few games. And that sort of turned it round for us a little bit. And you would think that this would be the game they would point to, home against Palace, where they would push on, but wasn't to be. We were much better than them. And to be honest, even pessimistic me, we should be much better than them again on Saturday. Because really, I don't think they've, normally we talk about a player who's good or someone to watch out for, but really at the moment, I don't think there's any. Not even when Sarr first got in the team a couple of years ago, even though they were going down, everyone was banging on about how good he is. But now there just doesn't seem to be anyone who's standing out. I look at the Watford fans on like Twitter and they're all moaning about the stuff that we would moan about towards the end of Roy's tenure, where he's playing sort of central midfielders out wide. He doesn't change the team enough. He doesn't make enough subs. So I do wonder if it's like you said, Mike, that his way of playing just doesn't work anymore. And when you come into a team like Watford, who are essentially down anyway when you come in, and they have such a high turnover of players every year, that it's hard into nothing, really.
Well, I'm sure it still does work in that, like David Moyes has played, like at West Ham, he's played the same 11 week in, week out. Mm. But if that 11 is decent, those kind of tactics and that kind of way of thinking works. But when you're poking around looking for the right 11, like, he's not your man. He's absolutely not your man.
I wonder if he,
now?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I wonder if he was gutted on his first week at the Watford job when he realised he couldn't shoehorn Jeffrey Schlupp into the 11.
True. Although everyone seems to somehow shoehorn him in.
much to Chris Clark's delight.
Yeah, I mean, that was, we were talking about it on the match report. Like, he kind of got shoehorned in Southampton because we were at half time. We're all like standing in the concourse going, surely Schlupp and Eze should swap round. But method to his madness when you win.
Well, this is very true. I mean, to be honest, when he brought Wilf on and played him up the middle, I said, "What's he doing?" And he scored the winner. So what do I know? The last time I said that was when he brought Gyro on against Stoke in the cup, and then Gyro scored the winner. So I just need to shut up.
Has he played since?
Has he played since? Poor old Gyro.
He hasn't. He hasn't, has he? I've just noticed with my eye on the telly that all the places for the finals, the UEFA finals, are fixed, and it's really refreshing to see 6 different nationalities represented across the finals.
I couldn't give a fuck, to be honest, Nick.
No, it's just I thought it was just going to be full of English teams, which does me head in, because if it was 2 English teams, you want them both to lose. That can't happen.
Well, it's lovely to see West Ham out, definitely. Yeah, absolutely lovely.
Yeah, getting too big for their boots. Talking to big for your boots, just a chat I had with DR earlier in the week was about how football chants kind of go as time moves on. And do you think there ever come a time, us being from Croydon and being the land of roadmen and such like that, actually, rather than singing old songs, the HF will be spitting bars to big for your boots or that kind of thing?
You don't think there's enough gritty behaviour to Peggy March and Dave Clark 5?
No, to be honest. I mean, if you could choose an anthem that the fans would sing along to, what would it be?
Oh God, this is putting me on the spot. And now we're going to have some dead air. Jump in, Mike.
Good question. Electric Six. Gay bar.
And which player would that represent?
Didn't we have an Electric Six chant for Wayne Routledge? Danger, danger, Wayne Routledge, when he scores on the pitch.
Yeah, you're
If
right.
I've made that up, then that's a banging. That's a banging chant. And I would like to go back in time to when Wayne Routledge played for us and get that going.
I mean, maybe. I certainly can't. I can't remember.
Well, you can't remember Christian Boll either, mate. So
Yeah,
that's no shocker.
Well, that's just one to think of for the future.
It
Anyway,
is.
if you could your own fantasy chant tune. See, I'd go for some grimy thing just to see what it sounds like. 3,000 people spitting the bars out.
I mean, I'll leave it to the HF because they make some very fine decisions on this stuff, and it takes them a long time, and they share lyrics backwards and forwards, and that's way more effort than I would fucking go to. So
is that why they mainly go back to the 50s? Because it takes that long.
They redeveloped is Daft Punk, for example.
Yeah.
But
Listen, we've got our Wenger Boys chant for Mateta. That's all I'm here for.
That's all we need. But
There you go, Wenger Boys.
What
That'll
was
be mine.
funny about the conversation with DR was he referred to, I think he was trying to wind Patrick up, but he referred to Jimmy Mack as an iron brew Joe Ledley, which absolutely.
I did. I had to dip out of that conversation because A, I won't hear any slander against James MacArthur, but B, I don't want to inadvertently get wound up by DR winding up Patrick. So I left. But on the subject of James MacArthur, do you think he keeps his place in the team? Do you think we switch it up again? Because it seems like Vieira's sort of changing things here and there. Obviously, had Wilf on the bench against Southampton. And he does seem to bring players in and out every now and again. So how do you think we're going to line up? Any massive changes? Do you think Wilf will get back in the starting 11?
I think he's earned his place. We'll start on the ring, I think. Yeah. I think he has. Is it the last under-23s game tomorrow? Because I was going to say, with that season ending, it's a chance to bring some of the younger players through. And when you've got so-called easier games, you want to be looking to bring younger players in. But yes, Wilf, definitely. Got to start him. Especially at home.
And Mike, do you reckon Elise is going to come in?
I quite like the super sub plan from the other day, to be honest. I'd just like to see Eze in the middle for a game. Patrick pointed out in the match report, I'd love to see Raksaki on the bench get some minutes. Mm-hmm. He went further and he said he can't see the point in Conor Gallagher playing anymore because we're not going to keep him. I get that. I think about it slightly differently, and I feel like Conor Gallagher could teach a lot of the younger players a lot by playing with him. But I'm happy with Elise on the bench and coming on as a sub. I'm happy with Wilf starting or coming on later. Jimmy Matt, if he's 100% fit now, if he's back to full fitness, great. I mean, play him. I think we can beat Watford with pretty much anyone, to be honest. Will Hughes haven't had enough minutes. He was amazing against Southampton for the few minutes he came on. We got any of those players should be able to beat Watford. I'm not too worried. I
mean, it's even a little conversation to have about who starts up front. Whether Edouard gets another go, whether Benteke, who had a good cameo against Leeds, gets a full game, or you just sort of stick with Mateta to run around a bit. But like you say, I think realistically we should be looking to beat Watford. I don't want to say comfortably because that makes me feel a bit sick saying that about Palace, but we should be beating them with whoever we put out. Yeah. And that leads me on to the last point, which I think is quite pertinent with Palace, is that we're quite good at relegating teams. In the past, we've relegated Cardiff, we've relegated Hull, we relegated Stoke. So what are we going to do it against Watford?
I mean, look, mathematically, they're almost absolutely definitely going down anyway. So isn't it? It's only like goal difference anyway, isn't it? So we need a point, and I'd be very disappointed if we lose to Watford. So yes, I think we probably are, and that's great because their fans seem to hate us. I don't know. They want to back Harry the Hornet for whatever. Just going back to the last thing, the one thing I'd like to see in the next couple of games is just 10 minutes. Whoever's playing up front, if there's 10 minutes to go, rather than bring Benteke on or whoever isn't playing, just bring Rakzaki on for a few minutes. That's what I'd like to see.
I thought you were going to bring Yak on.
Oh, Yak, that'd be amazing.
Yaksaki. All right, well, let's finish up with a couple of score predictions then. Nick, what do you reckon?
5-0 Palace. I really think we're going to put them to the sword. I really do. And we're due to give somebody a good caning. So let's welcome Roy back to Croydon, and he can remember us. And then when he's retired with his sheep, he'll be welcome back at Palace anytime he likes.
Lovely. And Mike, what do you reckon the score's going to be?
I mean, this is a team that are playing for their lives, and if this is their derby, then I'm torn between 2-1 or a draw. I'll be positive because I know you're going to be negative, so I'll go 2-1.
Wow, I was actually going to say I think we're going to win 2-0, but we can't have a clean sweep of wins, so I will take this on the chin and let's say 1-0, but we'll absolutely batter them all game. But we won't be able to get that winner as much as we deserve it. But they'll still go down, and no one will be sad. And on that note, I want to say thanks to Nick and Mike for stepping in. I really appreciate it. And
we were talking about a coup beforehand, but decided against it. I thought we'd just let you crack on.
Well, you're not gonna topple me, surely. Albert and Terence are part-timers here. I'm the glue that holds this.
You are
somewhat rickety ship together. Ships aren't held together like glue.
I better do some more Albert stuff before we finish up. Wank me off.
Brilliant. What better way to finish than that? As per usual, check all the socials for the match report and all that sort of stuff. But until the next time, up the panel.